welcome back to Makeup FOMO, where we are going to be getting ready together today. That is why I look a little bit rough, but I am excited to get ready. I actually wanted to get ready and kind of talk a little bit about the infamous SUBCULTURE palette. I'm sure you guys have heard all the drama going on. I'm sure you've seen the palette 1,000 times. It's a love... Okay, as you can see, I haven't even used the brush yet. I love the brushes that come with these though, they're legit. As I was saying, yes, I want to get ready and use this baby to kind of give you guys my thoughts, show you what mine is like, tell you if I think I got a good one, a bad one, what I think about this. I also would love to hear what you guys think about this, whether you have it or not. What's your take on it? I know this is probably like the most dramatic palette that has ever been created. I think the Jaclyn Hill palette was probably right below it. So I don't know, it's crazy. It's just makeup, but everyone's like up in arms over this palette. It's crazy, it's just eyeshadow, but we're all makeup lovers, so I guess we get passionate, but I thought we could get ready together, talk about this. I also looked through my collection and tried to find some other alternatives. Not like a whole palette that's a dupe, but just some individual shades in my collection that I thought kind of matched with some shades in here. So I'm going to show you those as well. So let's get started. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in so we can get started. And yes, I am wearing a sushi shirt. Do you like it? This is from Forever 21, probably like a year ago, but I'm a sushi girl with a sushi shirt. So I'm gonna start with my Lorac Behind the Scenes eyeshadow primer. I don't usually use primer, to be honest. I just usually use like foundation and concealer because I think that's good enough, but the SUBCULTURE palette, I was all kinds of nervous about it because of what I heard. So I was like, just to be safe, I'm just gonna always use a primer with this so that I have, you know, the best possible chances of it working for me. So, spoiler alert, I really don't have that many complaints about this palette, but the one of the few complaints I do have is that there's no just like creamy matte shade to set your primer with. I don't know why. I feel like that's a necessity in literally every single palette, but they don't got it. So I have had this, I've probably gone through so many of these, probably like 3. Just a little creme brulee single from Wet n Wild. I always have one of these or more around. So I just whip that out to set my primer with. So we can just have a nice, smooth, you know, starting point for all of the shades. Okay, so this was hard to find dupes for shades in here. To be honest, these shades are very unique. I know that there have been some dupe videos, but like these shades are special, they're unique. It's the reason why, you know, people are going so crazy over it, is because they are special. Did the brush fall out? Of course it did. There just really aren't a lot, at least in my collection, and I have a pretty extensive eyeshadow palette collection, so I really thought I was going to find more dupes, but I found ones that are similar, but just nothing that's exactly the same. But I'm going to show you what I did find, and we're going to get started with that. So what I'm going to first use is the shade Roxy, which is kind of like an orangey. I think it's so pretty. And I'm going to put this all in my crease just to get us a nice warm kind of starting point for the look. And then for this side, I'm going to use the Luna by Luna eyeshadow in the shade Jace. This is just an eyeshadow single, but it actually, in terms of the tone, let me show you. So here are those two shades side by side. They're not exact, but they're pretty dang close. When I first swatched these, I wasn't so sure about them, but on the eyes, I think they look pretty identical. This one might be a little bit more like peachy pinker. And speaking of kick up, actually, look at all the kick up in this one. I'm gonna put my brush in. So it's not just Anastasia, we all got some kick up here, okay? So the next shade I'm going to dip into is Edge, which is that super pretty, unique, like yellowy color. Just tap very lightly. This is, by the way, the Miss Glam Ipsy T35 Precise Blending Brush. I'm going to layer this right above where we put that orange peachy tone, the Roxy. Now that I think about it, it's a little sunset-esque, you know, with the yellows and the oranges. But I love starting a look with a really warm transition. And then what I found in my collection as a very similar shade was the shade Paper Tiger from ColourPop. This is just a palette. I made it myself, though. I just bought the 4 different shades that I liked, and then it came with the palette, and I put them all in. And I love these shadows. They're so good. ColourPop is for sure one of those brands that is high-end quality, just with the drugstore price tag. It's awesome. So just like I did before, I'm just going to layer some of the yellow right over top of the Jace shade from Luna. And I'm wiping off my brush in between each usage, so don't worry. These are looking pretty similar, wouldn't you say? Okay, and honestly, the next shade is the last dupe that I was able to find, or like similar shade that I was able to find in my collection. So I'm going to pick up the shade All Star, which is like this really, really pretty like wine shade, and I'm going to use my Real Techniques base shadow brush. I'm just gonna dip into that real lightly. Guys, I'm really not getting a crazy amount of kick up. Like, you can definitely see, obviously I tapped my brush in it, but if you just put your brush in there lightly, you're gonna be okay. I promise. I think people were just being a little too harsh with it when they were first using it, and I think some people were kind of trying to be dramatic and make a point, which is fine. And if you don't like kick up at all, then you're not gonna like this. But it's a little bit of kick up. It's just like the Modern Renaissance. It's just like, you know, this shadow. Even the ColourPop one, I mean, it has a little baby, see in the yellow? There's like a little something there, but it's like, it's a powder eyeshadow. It's pressed, but it's still a powder eyeshadow. I don't know. This is so pretty. Oh my gosh, you see this color? That is such a pretty shade. And I'm also not having an issue blending these Anastasia shadows. Like, I'm just putting them in my crease, and they're staying. So I just wiped my brush off, and the dupe I found for that is in the Kathleen Lights Morphe palette. It's this shade right over here. They look at them. You see those? So I am going to flip my brush over, wipe it off a little, and dip into that shade. Apply that. The Morphe one is definitely a little bit less pigmented, so I'm having to build that one up a little bit more actually, and it might just be a touch like pinker, a little less purpley, but I really don't think you can see much of a difference on the eye if you're not like really looking. Okay, so that was the extent of the dupes I could find, and I looked through a lot of palettes. I couldn't find anything else that was similar, so I really do think that as much as there is drama, and obviously this is a, you know, higher end, slightly pricier palette, I do think that the shade selection you're getting is so unique and so different and hard to find anywhere else, especially all together. I know some people think this is a little bit of a weird color combination, but these are very unique shades. I'm going to stop here just with the 3 shades since those were kind of the only dupes I was able to find. And I just wanted to, you know, keep it a little bit simple. But I really think this palette is worthwhile. There's, like you can see, my palette's not dirty. There's really not a crazy amount of kick up. It's just like the Modern Renaissance. I think it was just a little over dramatized. Maybe I just got a better, you know, batch than others did. But I like it. I think it's worthwhile. If you're interested, just give it a try. You can always return it if you hate it, you know? But the last thing I'm going to do is just take that single shadow that I used at first and just dip into that just with the e.l.f. crease brush or blending brush. And just go along my eyebrow to brighten that up. I'm going to leave the lid pretty much bare. I'm just going to kind of touch up a little bit of the brightness in there on both eyes. and just keep it kind of a soft, totally matte look. I think that looks nice. Do you guys like that? Let me know if you do. And now we're gonna move on and finish getting ready. Oh, and I also want to really quick mention, do you guys see underneath my eyes? They're a little dark because I don't have concealer on, but I mean, in terms of actual fallout, I don't see any, do you? Told you. You can make it work, you just gotta be willing to work with it. You can do it. Okay guys, so that is going to wrap up this video. Thank you for getting ready with me. It was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope everything that I told you about the palette, some of the products I showed you, I hope that it was helpful. Definitely let me know your thoughts on the Subculture palette if you have any, if you've tried it. Would love to hear your experience. We do have a blog post about it if you guys are interested in any of the newest or recent or upcoming makeup and beauty releases. Definitely head over to makeupfomo.com. We cover all of that good stuff. And thank you again so much for watching. If you would like to stick around and subscribe, we would love to have you. We have a lot of fun here. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys.